Come on, little girl. Come on, girl. All right. I'm Don Hartley, known as the Catholic Defender, and I'm up here in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, not too far from Rangeley. This is a very beautiful setting right here with the mountains behind me. And we're just out here taking a ride, and what a beautiful opportunity this is. I've got Melanie that's with me out here. She works here and she lives here from Connecticut, and here she is in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. What a life she's living here. And so what a beautiful opportunity this is again. I am actually from Texas, and so I love the opportunity to be able to come out here in God's country, and just a beautiful thing to see. And what I have to say today, what I'd like to say is, come on there, girl. No. Forward. Why is she going backwards on me?
She wants to eat.
Ah, no, you ain't eating. Not now. Okay, there we go. There you go. And there's horses now called...
Tigger.
Tigger. Oh, Tigger. This horse is called Tigger. And so, well, anyway, I got a little story that I'll go ahead and say. This is going back in 1985 when I was still in basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I was at, my platoon was doing a video. We were watching a video. Our platoon sergeant was having us watch a video on how the Russians trained. Because back in 1985, the Cold War was a major issue in how we trained. And so we were all in a classroom environment watching this video on how the Russians trained. And afterwards, they asked me, they asked the platoon to ask questions. They invited us to ask questions. And so after a couple of people stood up, got permission to speak from the drill sergeants and asked their questions, I raised my hand to ask permission to speak, and I was granted permission to speak. And I stood up at attention and then went into parade rest. And I said, Drill Sergeant, I have to tell you, there's a reason it was interesting to watch how the Russians trained compared to how we trained. But I have to tell you, there's a reason I prefer this uniform that we wear as compared to the uniforms that they wear, our counterparts wore. And that was primarily that this uniform guaranteed us the right to worship God in freedom, where those in that uniform, in the Russian uniforms, those same soldiers that we were watching wouldn't think twice in taking a club and beating up old men, women, and children that they might find in a barn and beat them up for worshiping God or praying to Jesus. And so when I said that, the whole platoon just started roaring out with applause and cheering, and it took the drill sergeants by surprise. They weren't expecting that. And so about 30 to 40 seconds, this went on. This blew the drill sergeants away. They weren't expecting it. And so, but once they got their composure back, what they did, no, come on, girl. Come on, Tigger.
Tigger.
Come on. Oh, it's fun. This is fun. And this is beautiful animals. Now, once the drill sergeants got their composure back, what did they do? Well, they gave that look, as drill sergeants might, and just as abruptly as everybody went into applause and cheering, it got very silent. And I stood there alone in parade rest, and the drill sergeant looked at me as I stood there alone, and they basically looked at me and paused. And then the drill sergeant looked at me and said, go ahead and take a seat, Private. So I took a seat. But it really tells you something. That was 1985. Compare that today with what's going on in the military today. And our religious freedoms are being taken away from us. Chaplains are being persecuted. Soldiers are finding opposition. If you speak out for standing up for traditional families, it's getting to be bad. So we got to stand up for our religious freedom that the Constitution guarantees. That's important. And when it comes right back down to it, if you've been away from the faith for any time, I would encourage you. I've had people that's been away from the church for 30 years, make their first confession in 30 years. And that is so powerful. When a person goes to confession, the Lord takes those sins that you confess and He throws them into the sea of forgetfulness and He remembers them no more. How important that is for us to get back into our faith. It says in James chapter 5 verses 19 through 20 that if someone has gone astray and wanders from the faith and wanders from the truth, and someone brings them back, know that you have saved a soul from death and canceled a multitude of sin. So my encouragement today is, while we're out here in this beautiful landscape of Colorado Rocky Mountain high, and just enjoying nature out here, but God is real, and He created all of this, and He gives us the church to develop a relationship with Himself. So if you've been away from the church for some time, my encouragement is to pray about it and find your way back. This has been Don Hartley, the Catholic Defender. God bless.